Hello, everyone. Hi, it's Charlie here. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a fabulous person ready to interview today. I'm so excited that he said yes. Very busy man, and it's an absolute honor that he's happy to share his wisdom with us. So today we are talking to Puma Quispe Singora. Absolutely, honored to have him with us. Since being initiated by lightning at the age of 6, Puma has been on his spiritual path and mission as a Paq'o Andean Priest. I may not be saying that correctly. My apologies. His passion is rooted in the ancestral Incan teachings and is continuing his grandfather Don Maximo's legacy by sharing the ancient wisdom and medicine in his own unique way. Inspiring and heartfelt way, I should say. For many years, he attended and facilitated international gatherings of spiritual leaders and young leaders with YES, also known as Youth for Environmental Sanity. Please welcome today from Peru, Puma. Hi, Puma. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Charlie.
I think perhaps because we were talking about Pachamama's embrace, so perhaps maybe the first place to start is how can Pachamama help us to transform and heal?
Our Pachamama is always taking care of us. It's our first and most important guardian of our soul. We are, our soul journeys from the divine origins. In the Inca tradition, we believe we come from the sun that never rises neither sets, and we are here on Pachamama temporarily, on her care, on her protection, and because our soul essence is free and it's looking for safe places. Whenever we have intense processes, whenever we have shocking processes, traumatizing processes, our soul looks for the safest place on Mother Earth to be protected. And Pachamama calls on this soul force to look after it because it's not feeling safe in our physical body. So Pachamama is our first and most important guardian. And in order for us to come back with all our soul essence to the divine origins, we need to complete retrieving back the soul essence from Mother Earth. And in the meantime, she is taking care of it. So often when we work with Mother Earth here, we're constantly asking her to help us through our intense, through our shocking or traumatizing experiences. And she becomes our ally. So first she's our guardian protector, and then she becomes our ally, where we're constantly calling on her for ceremony, we're constantly calling on her for anything we want to do, because every force, every spirit force, every energy that exists here on Mother Earth is accessible to us, is ready to help us in our healing work, it's ready to help us in our journey of self-realization, in our journey of evolution here in Pachamama. And it carries a memory. It has a memory that remembers from the first ancestors that were here on Mother Earth to these generations that we are here present. So with that memory, already knows how to take best care of us. So in that way, Pachamama becomes a very powerful guardian, healer, guide in our life. And so we constantly need to reach out to her for support, spiritual support, emotional support, for vitality. And that vitality becomes our willpower, it becomes our passion, our will to make things happen, to have a wonderful life and to have a good health and to make powerful healing possible for our family, for our community. So we start embodying the essence of Mother Earth, And we also become guardians, we also become healers, we also become guides for our family and our community. So we become a force of Pachamama when we have that powerful alliance, when we have that powerful communion.
And that feels like that's why it's so important to have the reciprocal, relationship with her as well, because that sounds like, she's giving us a lot already.
Yes, we are constantly receiving so much from Pachamama, and there is a cosmic force. There's a cosmic law called Ayni. We call it Ayni here, and it's a cosmic law that says nothing ever goes one way. So we are constantly receiving from Pachamama, and we're constantly giving to Pachamama. And wherever we're receiving from, there's always that sacred exchange, which is that sacred reciprocity. Although it is not conditional, Pachamama is free. That powerful cosmic force makes sure that there is an exchange, that everything is going, both ways. And Pachamama is giving us always without expecting anything in return, although she will receive so much in return, because for her, our offerings is the life we live, in service, is the life we live in joy and happiness, in good health, like our well-being, our happiness, the best lives that we can live become offerings for Pachamama. They become the offerings for Mother Earth in gratitude for everything we that receive. And she is feeding, she is living on that essence, on that joy, on that love, on that life energy also. And it becomes, with the nature of Mother Earth, seeds for the next generations to come here to Pachamama to also receive that powerful blessing, to also receive through the memory of Mother Earth that wisdom, that sacred knowledge that we have recorded in the memory of Mother Earth with our life. So our life is not only serving us, is not only serving Pachamama, it is also serving the generations that are yet to come.
I love that, and that's putting that into perspective is so what you're saying is by us living a healthy and well and enjoying, the fruits of Pachamama as well, is actually also giving back to her as well, because it's like in our enjoyment of life and health, so is she fed with the enjoyment. Wow, I love that. That's beautiful. And I never actually thought of it that way. I've never considered the fact that our energy of joy is also how we can appreciate her.
That's why we say here in the Andes that what we do, what we think, what we say are complementary gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have to be there, but they are there because you're living a life. And so you can have a consciousness that, for example, before you drink a cup of water, you always pour a little bit to Mother Earth in gratitude. And that's a complementary gift. Or sometimes we create beautiful altars with flowers, seeds, candies, and we give it as an offering to Pachamama. All of those are complementary gifts. The most important gift that we give to Pachamama is our being conscious, our being in love, our being happy, our well-being.
Then how, like with trauma, talking about trauma and things like that, how does that then affect our health? How does that change things?
Because they are, when we have these shocking experiences, when we have these intense experiences in this life, which are part of life experience, here, we are connecting with the powerful energy centers of Pachamama. We're connecting with sacred time and sacred space, because even these traumas happen within sacred time and sacred space. So Pachamama feels that that responsibility of needing to heal that. But she has no power to do that by herself. It needs to be started, it needs to be initiated from within, from our heart, from our willpower. And there is so much that we're going through emotionally, psychologically, when these shocking experiences, these intense experiences happen. And it creates one of two energies, or a very low frequency vibration, which is called hucha. It produces dense energy, or sami, which is a very liberating, miraculous energy. And often when we have these intense processes, one of these energies will be in our physical temple. And if it's sami, it's bringing to us fast healing, fast recovery. It's bringing to us powerful epiphanies, discoveries, learnings from these traumatic experiences. But if it's hucha and it's dense energy, then it'll start slowing down our systems, breathing system, digestive system, nervous systems. And when that energy is not transformed and cleared, it will start affecting even our organs and our health. And so we will start manifesting physically that dense, heavy energy, creating unbalance, creating painful or hard processes. So that is what is delicate about trauma, because the trauma was already intense and hard on you. But according to how that experience was, it may also mean that this is going to continue being even more intense and being harder on you by affecting your health in the longer term. So that's why here in the Andes is a priority to take care of traumas. The first one is when we are born. When we take the first breath in, we're taking in the process of family, the process of our parents, the process of this land and of its history for how many thousands of years. So it's intense. When we take that first breath in, it's shocking. It's almost like the soul is just arriving to this physical temple, and then it goes looking for the safest places on Mother Earth. It wants to go back to the womb of the mother, but it's no longer possible. So it looks for the safest places in Pachamama. And the mothers here always learn to take care of that trauma, to take care of that shocking experience by calling it back to the physical temple and saying, your mother is here, you're taken care of. No need to be afraid, no need to be shocked, no need to go through these intense processes. So it's a practice here where the mothers constantly call back the soul of their babies. As soon as the baby is born, that day, there's a lot of soul calling back. And for the next days also, and the first months, if you can have the help of other healers, medicine men, medicine women, who can help call the soul back. And then as we are growing, with our first steps, those, like if for example, we're not held and we lose balance and we fall, that's another trauma. Or sometimes, we're discovering the power of our voice and we're just saying some sounds, and all of a sudden, if a word comes out and that word is too loud, or it was not backed up or supported by somebody in the family, that can also be traumatizing. So the first years we go through series of hard, intense processes where we need to constantly call the soul back, where we need to constantly make sure that those experiences produced sami, which is that refined energy, and not that dense energy, which, if we don't take care of it all the way from our birth, it can affect us so much in our adult life. It can affect us all the way for the rest of our life, actually. So, for example, we believe that limitations, for example, we have allergies, We have certain conditions that we need to have. Like if we don't take care of those, our physical bodies struggle. Those allergies, those limitations, those conditionings usually are originated from a trauma that was not healed, from a trauma that was not transformed into Sami, which is that liberating, healing energy.
I love how you have described that. It's really what you're saying is it's how important that nurturing is from the time that you're born, that mother nurturing to soothe the soul and say, it's okay, it's safe to stay here, it's safe to be here. And you can see it's sort of resonating with how our society and community has changed so much, where, you know, parents are busy, they don't get time, or, you know, the way that we raise children has changed so much. So to hear the importance of that energy, that soothing energy, to have a little human understand, to be able to nurture themselves as they grow up, and we're kind of losing that a little bit, aren't we?
We're missing it.
Missing it. Yes, that's right.
It's
Missing it.
never lost because, you know, because Pachamama is so generous, because Pachamama is so loving. Even when we don't have that from our parents, Mother Earth can manifest physically through friends, relatives, neighbors, people who can back that support, who can give that assistance that is necessary when we're going through these processes. And that's what we pray for. Here, we make strong spiritual alliances with the forces of Mother Earth, so that, for example, mothers, fathers are always praying in the name of their children, saying, when I'm not with you, if you go through any traumatizing processes, may this spirit force come and protect you and look after you. So we're constantly creating strong alliances spiritually. And that's just the way of life that is missing right now in most places, because there is no longer a conscious communion for the delicate caring of our life and the delicate caring of our life experiences, life processes. Little things nowadays, you know, when these traumas are not healed, it could be something somebody said, it could be something we just saw, you know, now on social media, or we even just heard about it, and it can produce that intense process, that trauma. So in order for us to be in absolute harmony with these life experiences, it's very important to take care, to heal, to transform the energy of these traumas, because it's going to give us a better quality of life. It's going to give us well-being. It's going to bring to us powerful blessings in our life.
So would you say, I guess if someone who is listening and they really resonate with the fact that they're probably feeling like they have a lot of the dense energy that's blocking them and holding them down, where do you start? How could you start to shift that dense energy?
So, you know, usually the best person that our soul listens to return is our mom. So usually here, a practice that you will have is you will go over to visit your mother, and you need to ask her to call yourself back. And, you know, the voice of the mother is the first voice that was heard. So it's the most familiar one, and the one that you listen to with all your heart. So usually we call our mothers to help us with that process. But sometimes they're far away. I mean, you can even do it nowadays through the phone. Now we have technologies. It's like it's the voice frequency that transcends even distance or space or even time. When we don't have our mother to help us with that process, we need to look for healers. We need to look for medicine women, medicine men who can help us bring back and heal these traumatic processes and these dense energies. When we can't find doctors, when we can't find healers that can help us with this, we need to do it for ourselves. So there is a constant practice here that we have. Every day we have some powerful experiences and powerful processes. And at the end of the day, when we're going to go to the place where we're going to sleep, before going to sleep, we constantly call ourselves back. We just say, Puma, come back, come back, come back, 3 times. And we say, this is your body, this is your temple, this is your palace. Wherever you are in that loneliness or sad or angry, or wherever you are feeling afraid, wherever you're feeling these intense processes, come back. And then, you give yourself warmth, you give yourself care and love as you are calling yourself back, because these parts of your soul, these essences that return, come back to a body that is feeling strong, to a body that is feeling safe, that is feeling warm. If you're uncomfortable, if you're not in a good emotional process, if you're not in a good physical process, let's say sometimes issues with the digestion, issues with the breath, usually when we're not physically well, our soul easily. So that's why we need help. We need support. So when we need to do it for ourselves, it's a little bit of an extra work, but we can do it. We master that. So we're constantly calling ourselves back. In Quechua, we have a word that is Hampuy. It means come back. And we say Hampuy 3 times and then our name. And then you start feeling all of the essences of yourself, whatever memories, whatever visuals, glimpses left of these traumas start being transformed, start being liberated. It's a very powerful practice to constantly call yourself back.
I can imagine that would be, and just the idea that you're making yourself whole again, really, aren't you?
Yes.
Because I guess, yeah, so many times people have explained that trauma is like losing a piece of yourself, as you say. So to call
Yes,
yourself
for us
home.
is basically that. You arrive here to this life from the divine origins, and some of these experiences in this life can be too intense, therefore traumatizing. And a part of your soul, a part of your essence, not all of it, because if it was all of it, then you wouldn't be here. But parts of it, important parts of it, look for the safest places in Mother Earth. And they find that safety, but that part of your essence, of yourself, is missing. And without it, you're vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, that's when heavy energies attack. And that's why people, when they have had traumatizing experiences, they've created a pattern in life where they continue attracting the same experiences in different times of their life. And that's because it was not healed. That's because that part of yourself, that essence that is necessary, was not called back. So here we have so many rituals, so many ceremonies to bring that back. Most important ones are working with Pachamama, constantly going through sort of like a vision quest or pilgrimages where we go to sacred places. And in those sacred places, we continuously call ourselves back. We give ourselves that process of healing, process of self-love, self-care, so that
Excellent. Thank you. Just something that has come up for me in the way that you're describing this is also the idea of ancestral healing. And I know the way that you described some of the layers that Pachamama obviously knows us and our previous lives better than anyone. There seems to be a lot about ancestral healing at the moment. Is that something that, I guess you're born with, these different layers of those traumas as well?
Our soul is here in the Andes. We don't believe in reincarnation,
Oh,
at least
okay.
not in that linear way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Once you are born here, you have access to all time and all space. So that's why we can talk about past lives and other
Mm.
lifetime experiences, because while you are here, you have access to them. It's like the memory and the portals of Mother Earth allow you to travel through time and space. Uh, and that's why you can revisit lifetimes while you are here. Once your soul leaves the physical temple, you no longer have access to that. So we don't believe that there is anything that you can carry uh, as a soul ancestry. You can't. You come pure and you go back pure.
Mm.
And everything you have only access while you are here on Mother Earth. So you can consciously or unconsciously take on a lot of ancestral processes. I always recommend for people not to do that because
Mm.
it can become very intense. You know, it was not if you don't have the preparation, if you don't have the training and the guidance to transform these energies, then it can become very hard and very intense to take on ancestral healing because every generation has the power to heal that generation. But for example, when we're talking about our ancestors, we are rather very busy
Mm.
visiting ancestry that is going to give us something, not that is going to need our healing. So, for example, if we want to visit past lives, if we want to visit um, other lifetimes, because we are interdimensional beings, we do it in order to bring back what we call spiritual gold, wisdom, knowledge, healing, blessings. For example, when I was learning in school about how the Inca civilization was invaded by the Spaniards and there was so much violence and killing and destruction, that day I went very upset to my house. And my grandfather sees me and he says, "Why are you so upset?" And I say, "Well, grandfather, I learned about these Spaniards, what they did here and how much they have hurt and they have killed and destructed our culture. And that just made me very upset." And grandfather says to me, "Why are you so upset to yourself?" I said, "No, no, no, not to myself, to these Spaniards." And he says, "Well, nobody exists separate from you, nor time, nor space, not anybody. So everything is a part of you. Whatever that you are upset about is a part of yourself." And then grandfather says to me, "How do you know you were not one of those Spaniards in that lifetime?" And so we journeyed on purpose to those times. And, you know, interestingly enough, I found myself with the Spaniards rather than with the Incas. And I was in that lifetime connecting to the part of me that was invading, that was colonizing. So grandfather was guiding me through a process of self-forgiveness and self-love in order to not to feel that again. And ever since, this was happening like at the age of 8, 9. Ever since, whenever I would meet people still being, angry for the colonization of 500 years ago, I was like already back in the healing process from that. And there can be people who can live a whole lifetime with the resentment, with the anger, with the heart processes of that ancestral process, of that ancestral lineage. So it's delicate. If you don't know how to heal, if you don't know how to transform these processes, I recommend not to take it on. And if you're going to visit ancestral dimensions, then it has to be in order to bring back this alchemic, this spiritual gold, because that's ultimately what's going to serve you, and it's also going to serve family and community when you experience it and you offer it back to them.
Wow, that's really powerful. Thank you, Puma. The ancestral knowledge that you've just shared as well, as far as I think you nailed it, really, that understanding that, you know, who you don't know who you've been representing in the past. I think many people can probably assume that we've probably played both sides at some point in our many dimensions. And what an amazing healing that would be for the consciousness of the world if we all realized that too.
Yeah, we need to unlearn ownership. We need to unlearn ownership. We need to come back to that consciousness of thousands of years ago, where they used to transcend, race, time, space. So from very little, I was taught not to call, my lineage, my land, my culture, my ancestors, because they're not mine. That's why we have here, we say, nothing is yours because everything is for you. When you realize that all these ancestry, all these lineages are here for you and they're not yours, there's such a powerful liberation. Because when everything is for you and you're just calling this or that mine, you are being miserable with yourself. And indeed, any levels of attachment and ownership bring misery. So it's important to liberate that. It's important to liberate ourselves from that ownership. Here we believe we come from the sun that never rises, neither sets. That's the divine origins. And while we are here, every force in the cosmos, every force on Mother Earth is here for you to make this life experience more rich, more powerful. But not because you were born in this land, is your land. Not because you live in this house, is your house. Not because you're in this body, is your body. Like nothing is yours. Everything is for you. And it just makes life so much more rich. It makes life so much more generous and liberating you from misery. Because you can choose, because we are conscious and we are discerning, you can also choose what's not for you, especially what doesn't serve you, like trauma. It's not for you. It needs to be transformed.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that, to be free of all of those things. Especially when we're in a world of where it's all about what do you have, what do you own. So to be free of that would be amazing, and especially the trauma.
Yes.
I love how this conversation has gone, and the message is very powerful. I really appreciate your wisdom that you're sharing there. I would love for you to also actually be able to let people know how they could possibly find you, or what services, your retreats and things like that, if you wanted to talk about that.
Yes, here in the mountains, we're constantly journeying to the sacred places. There are portals, there are interdimensional portals of self-discovery, of mysteries of the soul, mysteries of the spirit. There are temples that were built thousands of years ago by our ancestors, and they were left as altars of healing, altars of awakening, altars of evolution. And so we're usually doing journeys here in Peru. You can find the link to some of these journeys in nocancani.com. That's our website. And there also we're offering some classes, some teachings with our team. We have trained a lot of young people here to master the arts of healing, the arts of working with energy. And so we're constantly sharing those also, you can find in our website.
Fabulous. I'll make sure that all of that is available to everyone when they see this video. I want to thank you so much for your time. I think that's a perfect place to let you go and finish with the message. And yeah, so appreciative of your time. Thank you, Puma.
Thank you so much, dear Charlie. Thank you so much to everybody who is listening. Um, remember to take a deep breath. With every breath we bring in, we're bringing in love, we're bringing in life, light that is healing us, that is taking care of us. And as you breathe out, remember to breathe out more love, more light, more life. And that way, with every breath, we are participating in the miracle of co-creation in our planet. Infinite blessings. Thank you.